this bit about eating in a communal setting. People do it all the time. 3, 4, 5, 6 people sitting together around one bowl and eating some of our local delicacies. In recent times, we've heard of Professor Akosa saying, no, that is a recipe for disaster. You could be basically eating your way to hepatitis B. And we all know the consequences of that. But let's address that issue. Is this actually the case? Eating with people who may have hepatitis B, how prone are we to it? Maybe we can even start from the standpoint of what hepatitis B is, Prof.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've always been somebody who reveres Professor Akosa so much. He's somebody who does a lot of research works when it comes to some of these things. And most of the time, when his findings or some of his knowledge is given to the community, people pick it with, some form of scornful eyes. And so therefore, people don't understand him, where he's coming from. But my greetings to him, Professor Akosa, my very big greetings to him. What he said in respect of hepatitis B, if we talk of hepatitis simply means inflammation of the liver, which could be as a result of some viruses or infections or inflammation that could have actually been the cause of the injury to the liver. And so sometimes they can lead to what we call cirrhosis of the liver, that is scarring, or majority of scarring, or you can see a lot of scarrings in the liver, parenchyma, and then eventually leading to cancer of the liver, which is hepatocellular carcinoma. And so the virus, as it were, the virus actually, we call it hepatotropic, which means that they feed on the liver cells. And so when they feed on the liver cells, what they do is that they leave in these 4 injuries, wounds, and so forth. And all manner of injuries will eventually lead to healing. And when healing takes place, healing always takes place and leaves something we call scars. And these scars are usually incompatible with the functions of the liver, and so therefore the liver functions are reduced to a point that it becomes a bit, either initially becomes bigger or eventually then becomes shrunken, and then you realize that the liver functions will be reduced. And we all know that the liver plays an important role as far as the very human being is concerned. So I think we are not here to tell the functions, all of them, but some of them is metabolism, and others are the clotting and all those things. So basically, when you are attacked by hepatitis, which is a inflammation of the liver caused by the virus, that is exactly what happens.
Well, in this instance, we know that the devil is in the saliva. And he has made the point that when you eat like this in such a setting, people, for example, the bankus and the tuozafis and the fufus, people dip their hands into the soup, scoop, put into the mouth. They may come into contact with some saliva, which then comes back into the soup. And that is where the problem starts. So you may unwittingly ingest that from the other person who may be infected, and then there's a problem. Is that a possibility, though? Some people say, look, the soup has been well cooked and all of that. The introduction of this saliva, does it make a difference? Can it actually cause the impact he is suggesting?
Yeah, that is also another issue here. Let me also state here that in this broadest sense, the mode of transmission or the transmission mode of this hepatitis virus, either A, B, or C, or whichever way, the mode of transmission is usually via blood or blood products. Do you understand? Meaning that either through sexual intercourse or through birth, or maybe exchange of needles, for instance, those who are into drugs, and then they inject themselves and then give the same injection to their friends to also inject, which of course if the person is, infected by the virus, can actually transmit it to the other. That is the major mode of transmission. However, there are some other minor transmission modes, such as what Prof. Akusa said. The saliva has now been determined or detected to also have the virus in it when one is infected. Not only the virus, it's not only the saliva, but rather you can also find it in tears and sweat. Do you understand? And so, therefore, even though it's not the major mode of transmission, it is one of the mode by which one can easily get, contracted with the virus. And so, what he said is right. But back to your question as to whether the soup is, the food is warm or hot or whatever. Let me also put on record that the virus, especially hepatitis B virus, is a virus that can actually, live comfortably in the environment at the temperature of 37 degrees Celsius for over 22 days without being affected. Its potency to cause disease still remains. And so, the temperature by which this virus can be destroyed, as per the case 6 suggests, is that I don't think we eat any soup that is 37 degrees.
Definitely not. that was called your mouth. So in other words, they could thrive in the soup and you could ingest them.
Exactly so. So the underlying thing is that the virus survives 37 degrees Celsius. I hope the underlying is 37 degrees Celsius environmentally. Okay, that's the environmental settings. For over 22 days, it can survive and cause all manner of problems for whoever contracts it. And so I believe that Prof. Akusa was trying to, get us to understand that the virus is quite a very dangerous virus. There are a lot of, viruses usually go through what we call mutation, that's changing their forms to cause all manner of pathological conditions and pathological situations in humans. And so, therefore, when somebody is infected with the HBV, which is hepatitis B virus, the person should actually, in fact, it's a cultural thing that we do anytime we go home. It's something that you want to show your brother that, oh, you love the brother, you don't have any bad intentions, and so on and so forth. So let us all eat from the same bowl and all those things. That is good. But then, if you know that you have the virus, please, refrain from eating from the same bowl with your friends and then brothers at home, because there's a likelihood that even though that is not the major cause of or the major transmission mode, they can actually be infected when an infected person eats with them in that manner. So that is exactly what Prof was trying to, let people understand.
Beyond everything you've said, there's another point I want to get in, something else he said, but just to clarify. So what else can we do to avoid contracting hepatitis B?
Well, first and foremost, we need to test. We go to the lab, have your blood tested to see whether you have it or not. And if you do, there are some remedies that can be, be instituted to, as it were, help you reduce. In fact, the basic thing is that you can be hepatitis B virus positive. But then there's one thing that there's a caveat here. That caveat is the fact that you have to look out for the viral load. The load of the virus in your system that matters. It's not the mere fact that you have the disease in your system. So if the virus is quite a high number in your blood, then it becomes a worry for the doctor or whoever is managing you to reduce the virus, because actually getting rid of viruses in the system is quite difficult, especially viruses of this nature. And so we need to be reducing the viral load. It's very important. And then after which, if you are somebody who also, as it were, patronize any of these areas where you have free access to sex and all those things, you protect yourself by wearing the normal protective gears to be able to do that. And then comes in, what do we call it, the use of syringes in the hospitals, which of course these days no doctor or no hospital will use one syringe for for two individuals, and so therefore that is actually sorted out, so that one will not get it. But then the most important thing is that we should get ourselves checked to see whether we have the virus. And if we have it, we should try as much as possible to protect others and protect ourselves from spreading the disease further, and also to control the load of the virus in the system. I've heard that sometimes in Ghana, somebody comes to you, especially those of us who are in the medical field, the person can show you have hepatitis. The moment the person is designated as hepatitis patient, then, I mean, it looks as if hell has broken loose. But the most important thing is that you need to actually have your viral load checked. And so the higher the viral load, the more, severe your condition can be, and the more severe the liver can be damaged. And so that is what I'm trying to let the people understand. But Prof. Akusa, whatever he said on this issue is on the point, because basically it has been proven elsewhere in China, in Iran, and other places where research has been conducted and been proven that saliva, sweat, tears, and so on and so forth have the probability or possibility of containing some of the viruses, especially the hepatitis B virus.
Prof, we're immensely grateful for the education you've granted us this morning. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Thank you so much, my brother. My greetings to everybody.
Thank you. And that is Professor Dr. Paul Osei Sampene. He is a forensic expert histopathologist as well at the Department of Pathology, School of Medicine and Dentistry at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So yes, take care of yourself. I know there are vaccines for some of them. Get yourself checked. Get vaccinated if need be. Get booster shots if you've gone through the duration of about a decade. Do the right thing and stay safe. You don't want to fall ill. But coming up, we're going to be having a conversation up next. It's a public lecture. Joy News together with an amalgam of professional bodies. And the topic, looking beyond the Fourth Republic towards nation building, the case for a citizen's mindset revolution. It's latest for the 6th day of June. We'll be telling you more about that after the break. Do stay.